Hello, my friends, and hello to any parents out there. I've been thinking a lot lately about being a parent, a conscious parent, a parent who's working on themselves. And an exercise I like to do, which my fellow parents may like to try, is something like this. You say, my son or daughter or children, my children chose me as their parent. Because we choose our parents before we incarnate here. So our children chose us. So say that to yourself. Say, my children chose me as their father. And reflect on that. Reflect on what that means to you. For instance, for me, when I reflect on that, I think that's so wild. That is so awesome. How do I feel that my children chose me as their father? A fruit-eating, a presence, God-seeking individual, who's working on themselves. A truth seeker. My children chose me. Someone who is dedicated to purification and presence. I'm humbled by that, and I am honored, and I take it seriously. And I feel it's a responsibility. It's a responsibility for me to do the best I possibly can, to be the best example I can possibly be. And how do we do that? What is the greatest way we can help our children? What is the greatest thing we can do for our children? Work on ourselves. The greatest thing we can do for our children is work on ourselves, because our children are reflections or mirrors of us, of their parents. If anyone is interested, I've written an article previously about children's health. It's on my Substack, which is Fruit Saves the World. I believe the article is called The Great Mirror of Children's Health. It's an in-depth article about children's health and about how the greatest way we can impact our children's health is by first taking care of our own health, because our children are reflections of us. If we have bad habits and we are eating poorly, then how can we possibly expect our children to do any different? If we are stuck in these addictions and these attachments and desires and afflictions, how can we possibly expect our children to be any different? So the greatest thing we can do, regardless of what anyone else is doing or what's happening in the outside world, is do our best to be the greatest example we can be for our children. Now you say, well, what if I do X, Y, and Z, and then when my son or my daughter is older, they go crazy? It doesn't matter. What if my son goes to a birthday party and everybody's eating cupcakes? But I say, I don't let him have a cupcake. I bring a healthy option for him. My son's actually okay with that. What if our children end up resenting us? This is how I look at it. As long as our children are under our care, it is our responsibility as parents to take care of their health and well-being to the best of our ability. Our children's health is no one's responsibility except for ours. No medical doctor, no one is responsible for your child's health. You are responsible. I am responsible. And how am I responsible? By making sure they eat the correct foods for the human species as much as possible. Now, I'm not saying anyone's going to be perfect or it's going to be easy. My son doesn't eat 100% fruit and vegetables. You got a whole world to contend with. You do the best you can from where you're at, and you just keep going. Don't be too hard on yourself if you can't be perfect. I've caused myself a lot of mental stress trying to control what I could not control, because I could not accept what is. It wasn't until I got into the realization and the perspective of, wait a minute, I am not in control. Everything is just nature running off. Whatever happens is going to happen. I'm just doing what I'm doing, and I'm trying to get my son to eat as best as I can, and Whatever else happens, happens. You do the best you can, but it is our responsibility to show our children the truth, even in a world surrounded and submerged in lies. It can be very difficult because you tell your children one thing and the whole world says something different. Daddy, why is this like this? How come you do it like this, but everyone else does it like this? I tell the truth. Even though my son's 4 years old, he knows a lot. He knows the grocery stores are full of garbage, junk food. I tell him that. I'm not trying to confuse him. I think it does more damage than good by telling lies to try to, because they're too young. Keep it simple and tell the truth. Say, we are frugivores, the human species. We're supposed to eat fruit, berries, melons, and vegetables. Most everything else is going to congest and clog our body. And the greatest thing we can do is be the example. My son sees me eating all fruits and vegetables. Now, yes, he may still be eating other things because, again, I am not there's other factors. There's the whole world to contend with. And I'm not living in a tropical paradise where the greatest thing around is fresh, a fresh supply, a massive supply of different varieties of fruit and vegetables. So it's okay. You do the best you can. But remember, the greatest thing we can do for our children is work on ourselves. My son, I call my son my little guru. He is my guru. Use your children. Use everything. Use everyone. Use every situation as fuel for the fire of our awakening. My son is my guru. He's showing me where I'm still holding on, where I've got work to do. Anytime I have impatience, I've got work to do. My son's constantly showing me that. I need more patience. I know that. It's like, wow, I need more patience. Why am I impatient? Because I have a lack of presence. A lack of presence breeds impatience. A lack of presence breeds impatience. I'm constantly saying that. I said, I need to be more present. When your kids say, get off your phone, play with me, get off your phone. You're trying to say, be more present, be more patient, be more accepting. We need to be more accepting and realize that we cannot control everything. We cannot manipulate and control others, even if it's our children. We can be an example for them and do the best we can, but they are also going to be their own individuals. We can love them unconditionally, of course, no matter what they do. I tell my son that I will always love him no matter what. You see, this is an extreme example, but sometimes you see murderers in court, and their parents are there, supporting them because their parents are loving them unconditionally, just like Jesus did with the sinners and the murderers and the thieves. He loved them unconditionally because no matter what they do, it's not their fault. They're just nature running off. They're just karma running off. Remember, you can only act based on your conditioning and your chemistry and your level of understanding. And that's just nature running off. We have no control over it. So anything we've ever done, anything our kids do, if our kids are behaving a certain way, I always think your initial reaction is, oh, I need to do something to. Obviously, you can still have discipline in this physical world. You have to have some sort of discipline to deal with X, Y, and Z. But I also remember, it's not his fault he's acting like this sometimes. If your child has erratic behavior, remember, chemistry is a big factor. Unfortunately, this generation of children is born with really bad genetics because we've been lied to. We've been lied to about what our diet is, and the effect it's had on us over many generations is pretty devastating. So it's on us to turn it back around. Remember, be gentle on yourself. Love yourself. The greatest thing you can do for your children is to work on yourself. Namaste.